welcome to another episode of This Spice. I am Wiyolania, and with me is
Rotimi Akinwe. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, and like we do on the show, we bring you gist, we bring you trending topics, we talk about it, give you our own point of view,
That's right.
our own opinion, and feel free to agree or disagree.
And absolutely, you can actually feel the same way or disagree. You can send your opinions, whatever it is you think about what we are talking about.
Yep. So we'll kick off today's episode with Bibi Naija, that is going to trend until the show is over anyways.
Yeah.
And specifically, we're going to talk about Madam Tacha.
Tacha that would never be evicted.
Nah, I don't know that one. I don't know.
According to some people, Tacha would never be evicted because she's. Some are saying that they know what they're doing, and because of that, they can only give fake evictions and all that, and she will still remain. Talking about the votes she can generate.
Well, there was fake eviction yesterday, and they involved Tacha and Sheyi. However, looking at the Tacha she actually had the highest vote, and I think she also had in the last eviction as well. But then, if we look at the amount of money that she's generating for the company, she might never get evicted because money-wise, this is a business. They have to make their money.
Yes.
But then I think she's just really trying to put up the whole CC strategy. She's trying to be the CC of the last Big Brother.
That's okay.
And Sisi was the first runner-up, so who knows? I don't know. If it works well for her, fine. She's really not my favorite in the house right now.
And one thing about her, wherever you find yourself, just do what you can do.
And she's just a troublemaker.
Somehow she's making herself indispensable, but I do not think that can remain like that.
I think she's just all over. She's just all over everybody. So.
And
she was a little bit dramatic over the weekend. She was almost all up in everybody's face.
Yes. What about Tacha and Sheyi, in the secret room? And people are beginning to say, oh, it's an opportunity for Sheyi to just shoot that shot.
She doesn't have any shot to shoot.
Well, how can you say that? Why?
Even with me, Sheyi doesn't have any shot to shoot.
All right. That's with you. That's with you.
Tacha.
And some are saying, between Tacha and Mercy, who do you think is hotter, so to speak?
Have you assessed Mercy's booty?
All right. I do not have an answer to that, but I'm just asking a question. Tacha, Mercy, who would you go for?
Mercy is merciless. That is what I will say.
All right.
Let us move on to another thing that trended, or that has been trending, which is the application Face App.
Yes.
Where people try to look at what they look like when they are old.
I'm beginning to imagine what you will look like in the next 80 years.
Baby la hot. Always hot. Baby Aku. Oh.
Have you heard that word?
I don't know why it's
going on. Somewhere. But I've actually seen some celebrities, yes, in that challenge, the Face App challenge, the way they would look when they are 70, when they are 80, and all of that. But can we actually trust that? Can we trust that that Face App would give the exact way you will look? I think the way you will look would depend on how you treat yourself, how you manage yourself.
Yeah, true.
The amount of stress you've gone through over the years would actually tell on your body system.
I think what the app just tried to do is just try to shrink out the face a little bit.
Exactly.
That's just basically. And then the fact that people are even saying now that according to the terms and conditions of the app, that you're giving them license to use your information for anything.
That's another issue.
I think because it's a Russia thing, people are now becoming very, very, the way the Russians.
Yes, you can argue. But another thing I consider is, most of the time when we download apps and all that, remember all these things, they have their terms and conditions. Nobody has the time
to be free.
So don't blame anybody if your pictures are being used for anything. I don't
have the app, so nobody's using my picture for anything.
But who told you the Facebook, and some other apps like that you have on your phone do not have your pictures and would not have license to use your pictures for some other things? Good luck to them.
That's their headache, really. But
what about your reputation?
Which reputation?
You don't have a reputation? All right.
This is all I have.
This is all you have.
Yes.
And this is your reputation now.
myself,
This is your image.
There's really nothing to damage. Even me myself, I've buried myself to the earth, and I've brought myself back again. So.
All right. If somebody comes out tomorrow and say, Moyo, you did something like this, so 17 years back, what will you say?
Well, it can't be.
You won't be bothered, right?
It can't be something stupid. Trust me.
Are you for real?
Yeah.
Okay, like some guys will just come out and say, Moyo did. So, okay, let's leave that.
I'm a good
And
girl,
I know that
please.
would take us to something, you know.
I'm a good girl, please.
All right, just like
Let's
me.
quickly move on. Let's move on to Fayose, the good guys that are deceiving themselves. Let's move on to Uncle Fayose that said that
Moketo, that is the language.
Yeah.
That was what ended.
I shouted, or I had been.
I shouted enough.
I've been shouting.
And he was saying that, I warn Nigerians about all this,
Strategy
exactly, all these things that are happening right now. I told you that this is what will happen. I told you that there will be kidnappings and all that and all that and all that. But, political statements.
Yeah, the thing is, the truth about it is Nigeria is just a very political country. You don't know who is telling the truth and who is not telling the truth. You don't know who is telling the truth out of propaganda. You don't know who is lying in a bit to make things.
And another question that comes to mind is, can you really blame someone, just one person? Can you really blame the president, for instance, for all that is happening in Nigeria?
Maybe not all, but I think that there are some drastic steps that he should take that he's not really taking as a president. There are some decisions that you're supposed to take without being sentimental about it, without considering, without being tribal, without being religious. There's some decisions you're supposed to take. At the end of the day, you are the president over the country and not over your religion or over your ethnic group or something. So I think he has his own loopholes, and I think the things he did not treat, the things he did not take care of, are the entry point for a lot of the things that happened.
A lot of criticism.
Because now he cannot. I think the president is just is a very sentimental person. That is my own angle.
Okay.
So I think because he's a sentimental person, he's not being stern on his decision. And that's very funny to think that he was a former military person. I mean, people in the military were not.
Yeah, but some people actually believe that, if you have been a soldier before, a military man, somehow that dictatorship thing will be in you.
Yes, he's a dictator, yes, but he's also being sentimental.
No, you don't want to call him a dictator. No, you don't want to say that. Yes, and I know you're not saying that anyway. Okay. But one thing I know is that, just like you said, there are loopholes, and we just hope that things will get better.
Let's hope so.
Yes.
We only hope so. And talking about things getting better, Timi Dakolo and his wife. Timi Dakolo posted on social media, I think that was on Saturday, where he posted a picture of a white bus with tinted glass and saying some men who are claiming to be policemen came into his house, or they thrilled his wife.
Yeah, she was thrilled. And according to her.
Yes, in the guise of saying they wanted to
deliver a letter.
Well, he is saying that he thinks they wanted to abduct his wife or possibly abduct him. That they brought a letter, and they were saying that their boss wanted to talk to the wife. That the boss is in the bus. That their boss is inside the bus.
Interesting. Interesting.
You know,
another twist to the story.
And this policeman, or this supposed policeman, actually came from Abuja. So if they actually went with them, they probably would have taken them to Abuja. But let's leave that aside. Why would men from the police actually come, and you don't come in a branded vehicle? You don't come with your identification. I mean, you just.
I am not holding brief for the police, but one thing I have observed over the years, sometimes you have some other departments of the police force that will go in branded vehicles. You know that.
True.
Take for instance the SARS. Sometimes they do that.
See, the thing is, it's okay. I'm not saying in this matter. It's a social media matter. It's a very sensitive thing. If you want to arrest, you have to identify yourself.
Absolutely.
That identity and the way
Nigerian system. But remember, they were not there to arrest though. remember.
It doesn't matter. Even if you want to present, see, if the first thing, because the matter is already a public affair. In order to protect yourself and your institution, you're supposed to come to identify. You're supposed to come in a way that you are identified even before you are identified. If you get what I mean.
Yeah.
For instance, if you see a soldier, his uniform alone tells you he's a soldier.
Okay.
Now, if they're a group of soldiers and then they come to your house and you step out and you see that they actually,
and then you know there's a serious problem.
Then you're now wondering that, okay,
if you have a group of soldiers in front of your house.
Yeah, no, but what I'm trying to say is, fine, they came saying they want to present letters or something.
Yeah.
Did you have to come armed? Did you have to be... How many policemen did he say they were? He said like 3 people followed his wife and there were other people in the vehicle. I mean, just to drop letter.
Well, often most people would actually say that, okay, it's actually intimidating. And I'm sure she mentioned that as well. I think Dakolo spoke something, mentioned something related to that.
Another thing that is really disturbing for me is, why did they supposedly come from Abuja to actually drop? Are you saying that we cannot network in this country,
like
where
they should speak to the Lagos command to deliver the letter? And must you have a group of policemen, you know, in a vehicle to deliver such a letter?
It's just
in
a
fact,
letter.
Dakolo was saying that,
okay, deliver the letter.
even if you have to deliver the letter, must you drop the letter when they're around, even when they're not around? But I know some lawyers would insist that whoever is supposed to get that letter gets the letter in person. Otherwise,
they can deny that.
Absolutely.
They did not,
yes.
Which is fine. But the question is, why come armed to drop letter? Why would you come from Abuja to drop just a letter? I mean, it speaks a lot, really. And I think, sorry, another issue that I have with the fact is, the Dakolos already said they had filed a complaint with the police. And the alleged man of God also filed his own report. Okay. And I think that we need to come to a place in this country where whoever reports a case first, that the first person's zone is settled before you now entertain the other person. If not, it gives room for... I mean, what do they expect now? That they'll be treating a case in Lagos and they'll now be treating the same case in the counter thing.
Well, I want to believe that has to do with issue of hierarchy and all of that. However, some are saying, oh, power, muscle flexing and all that, show of power, so to speak.
That is what
yes, and because if the Abuja command, so to speak, is in charge of this, then I doubt it if the Lagos command can override that.
That's one of my issues. It's not supposed to be
remember, I do not know all the reasons they have for doing that. But remember, Fatoyinbo is in Abuja, not in Lagos.
Yeah.
So this calls for a kind of clarification, which I know the police will have reasons why they have done that. So, but nevertheless, if they are inviting, fine. But if you are inviting anybody, I do not think there should be any iota of intimidation in it, such that somebody will be scared.
And I also feel that because of how sensitive this thing, if you're truly inviting them, make a publication as well.
Yeah, what about the letter we saw on social media?
Yes, who put it on social media?
Okay, those were investigated anyway.
That's what I'm saying. Like, the police should actually have their own special publication in issues like that. Once you present the person with a letter, do have a publication on the national dailies.
Only God knows if their website is working. I've not tried it.
So that people would actually see that, okay, they were served and you've actually done it, so that people can actually say, okay, of a truth, the people that actually delivered the letter are from the Nigerian police. Because I mean, take a look at this, for instance. They came with unbranded they came with an unbranded vehicle, and they were 5 or 6 or something. Almost everybody has access to the Nigerian police uniform. Almost anybody can wear a black vest and write police on it in the Nigeria of today.
So how can you be so sure they are not? That's the thing. They are not fake.
That's the point. So I'm trying to say that because of how versatile and how wild this matter has gone, the police too should go all out in the actions that they take. When you want to serve them a letter, you could use your social media handles to say, oh, we will be serving blah 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 the Dakolos a letter on so and so and so and so and so, so that people can actually follow up.
I do not think they would want to do that. In cases like this, sometimes they have their reasons for how they do things. Because if you say something before serving the letter, if you publicize
how about
maybe after
how about
serving
you
the
serve
letter?
the letter?
Yes.
You said that, oh, and then you go on social media to say, oh, the Dakolos have been served with blah 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 blah, and then make a publication of the letter that you served them, so that people can actually say that, okay, yes, the people that visited them are actually genuine. And then when you want to handle a matter that is already viral, I think the police need to be more this thing.
There has to be. They need to be more professional.
Yes, you cannot go with an unbranded. If they are really policemen, you cannot go with an unbranded.
And they must not be seen as being partial.
Yes, because that is what it's looking
yes,
like now.
Every step they take at this point in time, everybody is focusing. Everybody is looking at the way things are being done. Only that another thing is, now that people have talked and we've had so many warriors on social media, I'm not sure we'll find anybody by the time the case gets to court. Are we going to find people who will go to court with the Dakolos?
Let's wait and see, because we really don't know. It's because it's the one that we know that we know. We don't know the one
and
that we
before
don't
we
know.
go, where do you think this case would end?
We shall wait and see. We are all watching. It's the
all right.
film. We are all watching it together.
I'm sure at the end of the day, it will get to the court and the court will decide.
Let's hope so. Leave your comments in our section below. If you agree with me, or if you don't agree with me, please let me know. Join us again next time on another episode of The Spice. Until then, have a nice day.